Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Phantom, and I hope you guys all had a great weekend. Before we begin, I do want to just say thank you to everybody just for clicking on this video. You could have spent your time doing anything, but you chose to listen and watch this video, which means a lot to me, so thank you so much. Please, if you like what you hear, hit that like button down below, leave a thumbs up and a comment. It goes a long way for the algorithm, and most importantly, if you're not currently subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We do have quite a few giveaways coming up in the near future, and you have to be subscribed to win, so if you haven't already done that, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It really means a lot to me, so thank you. With that being said, I do want to kind of rewind time a little bit, about 8 to 10 months, and talk about some things that we talked about almost a year ago now, and that's kind of starting your own Pokemon business and buying Pokemon cards at wholesale. I've gotten a lot of questions regarding this, and I know it's a very, very tough market right now, especially when it comes to buying wholesale, because a lot of distributors aren't necessarily working with new accounts right now, whether they be storefronts or online stores, just because there's so many people that kind of went out, tried to get resale license and things like that, and partner up with distributors. So I know it's very, very difficult. But I do kind of want to expand the whole idea behind what buying cards at wholesale means, because I think there is some misconceptions and misinformation that's out there on what that means and what kind of price points you're looking at when you are buying cards at wholesale. So I'm going to give some information out here, going over invoices and things like that we've kind of compiled over the years, just to give you a better understanding of what it means when you're buying cards at wholesale, especially when it comes to like opening up booster boxes and things like that, especially prior to a set's release or right after a set gets released. A lot of people have the idea or the mentality of going out, opening booster boxes, and then selling the singles, which I've talked about to great length on this channel before. It only really works right before a set releases, or kind of like on release weekend, especially during competitive play when that's starting up, because that's kind of where you get the most money for the singles that are inside the box. After that, there's so much product that kind of overwhelms the market that a lot of those prices start dipping down. But I do think that there's a lot of misconceptions on what booster boxes cost and what Elite Trainer boxes cost, other collection boxes cost, and things like that. So I just want to make sure that that information is out there, so that way you have it, and then you can kind of pass judgment or make judgment on your local game store. I do see comments and things like that, and people throwing thoughts and opinions out there without necessarily having all the information. So I do want to talk about that a little bit today, just to give you a better understanding of everything. The idea behind opening up my first business when it came to running a Pokemon card store or an online store was really just because I wanted the opportunity to open up packs and not have to pay $4.18 for a booster pack, or even over $100 for a booster box. I wanted the opportunity to at least pull some cards, maybe sleeve some, maybe play competitively, and then at the same time be able to kind of offset that playing with being able to run a shop and sell boxes, at a close to retail pricing, or at, getting that retail profit. I thought booster boxes costed, anywhere between $50 and $60, somewhere around there, and that there was a decent profit margin that was involved when it came to selling booster boxes, and that was my fault. That was my misunderstanding at the time, because unfortunately, as I did more research and I looked into things, I found out that booster boxes didn't cost between $50 and $60, and that there was actually quite a bit higher price points for booster boxes, especially for new accounts. So we're kind of going to look over that a little bit here. So I'm going to pull up my Google sheet here that I've just kind of pasted some invoices on, and I just went over the actual line items of the invoices, so that way I didn't give away my sales rep or anything like that, because I didn't want that information out there. So I hope that's okay. But just going over the Pokemon CCG collection box. This was the Lucario GX box. This came out several years ago. This was a very popular box that came out at the time, because the card Lucario GX was something that a lot of competitive players were looking for. This was a box. You have to remember, this was a time when a lot of sealed product didn't sell off the shelves like what it does now, like those Marnie boxes that we just got in, last weekend. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten ours yet. Our shipment was delayed, so hopefully that means that there's still a lot more out there, and maybe that's why you haven't seen them so much. But Lucario GX was a card that really took over the format at the time, or people thought that it was going to take over the format at the time. And when Pokemon cards came out, when a new set released, or when a new collection box came out, it wasn't something that was just grabbed off the shelves right away and then sold on the secondary market, or something that was opened up right away. A lot of times things sat for months and months and months and even years. But Lucario GX was a box that actually sold out relatively quickly, and was a box that, as a storefront, you could actually open up and sell the single inside and get closer to that retail profit, or that retail markup of $19.99, which was the MSRP on that box. So you can see here, we ordered 48 of them at the time. That's what we got for our pre-order. They were $12.50. So when you're looking at profit margin for something, let me pull up my calculator here. But when you're looking up at profit margin for something, boop, boop, if you're looking at $12.50 and you divide that by $20, let's say, so you're at 62.5, so you're at about 37.5% gross profit, which is actually not too bad, especially when it comes to a collection box. Now, that doesn't necessarily take into consideration at the time. These boxes, like I said, did not sell off the shelves. That doesn't factor in shipping or anything like that. But if you could get about $20 for a collection box, you were happy. Because that was the expected retail profit that you would normally get on something like that. Lucario GX, like I said, was a little bit better. You could open up the box, you could sell the code card for a little bit more. It had 4 packs inside. The jumbos just never really sell. They never really have had a strong market for jumbos. But then you could sell the actual card inside for anywhere between, you know, at the time, maybe $5, $6, $7 a piece. Whereas a lot of promo cards that come out right now, especially of the, you know, promo Vs or promo GXs, those are typically going to be bulk right away when they come out, like that Galarian Rapidash that we just had that came out. That Galarian Rapidash V-Box is still selling. The V card that's in there is still only selling for about $2 a piece. But we bought 48 of them. That was $12.50 a piece, and then that costed us $600. So if we sold everything at $20 a piece, that was the expected profit margin that we're going to get, which means that you can expect those Calyrex boxes that came out to be roughly the same price. A lot of prices haven't changed since this box originally came out. I will let you know that distributor to distributor, these prices may vary a little bit. This was $12.50. This was not too long after we first started, so that plays a factor into things. A big store might get something like this for $11, $11.50, or a bigger distributor might offer better rates, something like $11, $11.50. But this was what we were offered at the time, and I mean, $12.50 is a lot better than the $20 that you would pay MSRP. So definitely having 48 at the time felt like a really good deal. When we move forward, this is Shining Legends, so I wanted to pull this one up because this was a holiday set, much like what we've seen with Champion's Path. We've seen it with Shining Fates, and we're going to see it with Celebrations, but this gives you a better understanding of where we were as far as wholesale costs go. So you had the Pikachu collector pin box and the Mewtwo collector pin box. Those were those little boxes, one with a Mewtwo promo card and one with a Pikachu promo card. Each one, I think, had 3 packs inside it. So you got 24 of each at $10 a piece. So $10 for the box. You bought 24 of them. That was $240. And then the Elite Trainer box, which was an MSRP of $49.99, much like what you'll see with Shining Fates, much like what you saw with Champion's Path, and much like what you'll see with Celebrations. The expected MSRP is $49.99. We got 80 Shining Legends Elite Trainer boxes at $30 a piece, so we spent $2,400 on those. Now, Shining Legends at the time, while it was somewhat of a popular set when it came out, it wasn't popular enough that items were selling at $50. They weren't selling at MSRP, so you were trying to find ways that you could either bundle or that you could figure things out to maybe crack open a few ETBs and try and sell some of the pulls if you got lucky, or otherwise you kind of sat on them for a little bit and hoped that they would just slowly move at that $50 price tag. A lot of times it was $50 including shipping. That meant that you were paying maybe $40 that you would get for you would get $40 is what you would sell it for after shipping, because it was $50 shipped, and then you would get that $10 net profit basically, and that would have to go to whatever, you know, paying bills or paying employees or paying electricity or whatever the case may be. But this just gives you a better understanding of where the holiday sets go. I will tell you that Shining Legends or Shining Fates was a little bit more expensive than this. Hidden Fates was a little bit more expensive than this, at least from our distributor. We paid like $32 or $33 a piece for every ETB, and every dollar does matter. But again, that's varying for every single distributor. So anywhere between $30 to $33 is typically going to be the going rate for MSRP when it comes to a specialty set like what we'll see with Celebrations. This is kind of more of a main set release. So this is Sun and Moon base. We had 50 booster boxes. When we first started, we were looking at a price of $82.50 per box. So when you talk about booster boxes selling for anywhere between that $90 and $100 range, I've talked about this before in different videos, but just the idea of, hey, you're only getting $82.50 per box is your wholesale amount. So when you're starting to talk about, you know, $8 to $10 shipping, that brings that cost up to anywhere to $90 to $92. So selling it at $95 is kind of your break-even point, because once you factor in credit card fees, once you factor in PayPal fees or anything like that, $95 is going to be kind of your break-even point when you're paying $82.50 per box. Now, that is not going to be the case once you establish kind of more of that long-lasting relationship. A lot of this goes off of your negotiations. At the time, I didn't do a whole lot of negotiating just because I didn't really know what I was getting into. So 50 Sun and Moon base booster boxes at $82.50 seemed like it was kind of the going rate. I checked with a couple of other distributors and they said, yeah, this is our introductory price as far as wholesale goes. So I kind of just went with this distributor and it was $82.50 per booster box. We sold them for like $95. We only made $1 or $2 maybe per booster box, but never have we been in it for, you know, a lot of money or anything like that. It's been more about the opportunity to kind of open cards, get with the community, and have a lot of fun. So Elite Trainer boxes, we only got 10 at the time, just one case, and $24 a piece. Those retail for $39.99. You can't see the MSRP there. You also can't see the MSRP for the booster box, which is $143.95 or something like that, $144, which is what you'll see on the PokemonCenter.com website. But $82.50. So that's why I've talked about in the past about, you know, anywhere between $95 and $100 isn't necessarily a healthy mark for the market, but it's kind of just what the market goes to when booster boxes die down, like Battle Style selling for $95 to $100. It's just kind of what the market tends to gravitate to, and that's just one of those areas where you only make a couple dollar profit. You might only make, you know, 5 or 6% retail profit on something like that, which is why some LGSs definitely take advantage when there are times when they can get more of a percentage. So that's kind of why I wanted to give that understanding out there, so that way you have a better understanding of where some LGSs have to kind of make up that ground, or might think that they have to make up that ground. So this is the Crimson Invasion release. This is the last main set series release that I have, because this kind of signifies a giant drop in our booster boxes after we really started negotiating rates and things like that. So we did add some other things in here. This is when the Ultra Beast GX box came out and the Shining Legends Zoroark GX box came out. So those were collector boxes, and this is when we finally started adding some 3-pack blisters because people were asking for them. This is actually only just individual 3-pack blisters. We didn't even order any cases at this point in time. We were still so small. But we bought 72 boxes at $78.50 per piece, so that was the lowest rate we were able to get at that time. It has gone down a little bit since then, but not a whole lot. The lowest I've ever seen a huge company be able to get is right around $74 per booster box, but typically on average you're going to be right around that $77, $78 mark if you get a really high amount of booster boxes. Typically when you're introducing yourself to a wholesale distributor, it's going to be right around that $80 to $83 mark. The booster box of Crimson Invasion, $78.50, and then we've got the Elite Trainer box still at $24 a piece. This one is a little bit more of a hodgepodge of stuff. This was actually the largest order, or the last really large order that I was able to place with a distributor, where we got a bunch of product, and you can kind of see here just a huge hodgepodge of stuff. But this is kind of where, at the end of last year, the tail end of last summer, where things started really going crazy, and kind of just trying to buy whatever we could to keep things in stock because things were just flying off the shelf so much. So we got Primal Clash 24-pack blisters, Roaring Skies 24-pack blisters, so those are just the sleeve blisters. Breakpoint bulk box of 750 packs. We got 3-pack blisters of Steam Siege, blisters, single pack hangers of Sun and Moon and Guardians Rising, 3-pack blisters of Guardian Rising. Same thing with Burning Shadows pre-release kits, Celestial Storm pre-release kits. They had some Hidden Fates tins somehow, so those were only selling for $12 per tin, $144 per case, which was a really good deal. Team Up at the time, fantastic deal for check lane blisters of 288 count. They come in a really big case, which is crazy. But one thing that I wanted to show everybody was Rebel Clash down here. So this is 12 booster boxes right here at $82.50. The price had already started going up for booster boxes, and unfortunately that has been something that has continued for a lot of distributors, where they started raising prices a little bit when it comes to booster boxes, and that's why it's very difficult to try and get, you know, any profit margins for storefronts. For example, when we placed our order for the Marnie collections and the Calorix, and we got a notification that those were going to be getting to ship, we got an email saying, hey, you can add to your shipment, but here's what the price points are going to be. And it was like, you could get Vivid Voltage booster boxes at $90 wholesale. You could get Battle Styles booster boxes at $86.50 wholesale. But when you look at something and you see $86.50 for something like Battle Styles for a wholesale price, you can't make any money off of that, because it's just going to, I mean, you can't just sit on it for $86.50. Like, you still want to be able to move some product, and that way you're able to kind of get that profit margin in, so that way you can buy more product. And it's very difficult to do that when you have $86.50 and booster box prices are down to $95 a piece. You're not making any money on it. So $82.50 for Rebel Clash, which is already up about $4 from where we originally were ordering it from. This also was kind of around the time where Rebel Clash was going out of print. If you look at all this hodgepodge of stuff, the great thing about this is that this was kind of the norm, and this is what distributors will get back to eventually. But unfortunately right now, with the market the way that it is, there's just no product that you can order. Right now you might be able to order some battle decks. You might be able to order some battle styles products or something like that not a whole lot of customers really want right now. But you can't get a whole lot of check lane blisters. You can't get a whole lot of add-ons or things like that to put up on your website or put up on your store because there's just nothing in stock. So when you talk about not being able to go to a big box store, a lot of storefronts are kind of running into the same thing where they can't go to their distributor and buy product because as soon as a product releases, it's pretty much out of print. And then you're kind of waiting for more stock to get released and more reprints to come out so that way you can add more product to your inventory and that way you can sell. This was just kind of a last minute effort to try and get as much product as we could in store while we still could get it. And I mean, it sold really fast and it was great while we had it, but it just moved so fast. And then after it was gone, it was gone. But this kind of gives you a better understanding of where things were. Let me see if I am going to just narrow this, bring this down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better instead of my head covering up. But those Darkness Ablaze bonus packs, having 24 boxes of them at $60 a piece, and this just gives you a kind of an understanding of as you grow. This was through 5 years in business, so having a long-lasting relationship with the distributor kind of goes a long way with being able to get, growing your business and growing your brand and things like that. So if you're somebody who's just starting out, you're just looking to start out, it's a very, very slow climb, especially dependent on what your initial investment is when it comes to starting a business, as it is with any business really, not just Pokemon or not just a hobby store. But when you start having really low margins where you're only making a couple dollars per box, and you really have to start thinking outside the box and kind of coming up with different ideas so that way you can add profit margin to your bottom line so that way you can buy more product, it is just a very, very slow climb. So definitely don't get discouraged if you're somebody who's looking to start out or just started out and you're unhappy with how slow things are moving. There will be opportunity to grow, and it will grow. It just takes a lot of time, and that's why consistency is key and just dedication. So I hope that you guys kind of like this information. It kind of gives you a better understanding of where the market is as far as what your storefront might be, your local storefront might be looking at when it comes to ordering product. Again, not every distributor is this way. Every distributor is different. There's 20 of them you can find on the Pokemon.com website. Just to get a better understanding of what's all out there. There's quite a few of them out there, but this is just kind of information that's out there that you can look at, and I just wanted to make everybody aware so that way they have that transparent information to make better opinions when it comes to things, really. So with that being said, I am done rambling. Thank you so much for everything, guys. We got a lot of great videos coming out this week. We're going to open up some Marnie boxes. We're going to give some Marnie boxes away, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. It goes a long way for the algorithm. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for everything. Peace.